Today I've got 15 quick tips in Lord of the Rings Rise to War, and some of them you might have known, but many of them you might not. In fact, if any one of these was something you didn't know, then I have helped level up your game. So stick around in this video for 15 tips in Lord of the Rings Rise to War to help you slay your enemies. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and let's get started with the first thing on the list, which, if your apothecary is getting full, and if you're fighting, not farming, it will happen at some point. You desperately need to get your number of troops that are in here down so that your apothecary doesn't overflow. You're running out of speed ups. What do? Well, if you prioritize troops that have a lower conscription time, those troops are also faster to heal. In other words, and I'll show you this, with like 100 of these axe throwers, which are a very fast conscription time, 25 minutes, I believe, it is 4 minutes and 10 seconds to heal them. Whereas one command worth of these bow knights is going to be, and I can't actually land on exactly 50, so we'll go to 48. That's fine. It's 6 minutes and 24 seconds. So it doesn't sound like a lot until you're going through hundreds and hundreds of commands. If you urgently need to clear out your apothecary, heal the things that have a faster conscription time, and often the thing that will take the most speed ups to heal is going to be your faction special unit. These are an hour to conscript, and they are much, much longer to heal. Let's go to tip number 2, which is going to be probably pretty game-breaking and just like mind-blowing for a lot of people. I know it was for me, which is that, man, you see someone from your team get into a fight and you're like, how did it go? What hit them? What was the battle like? Well, if you go to your notifications in the upper left, switch over to public reports, and you can see every single fight from your fellowship. That's right, folks. If you want to know what's happening in your fellowship, oh, that tile got taken. What did they take it with? Okay, it's a 38 Camul. Even if it's not your tile that got taken, you can see in the public reports what it was and prepare for a fight to see, like, hey, is this something I can take? Now, the alternative is just to, be in voice with everybody, which is what we do in the Smash Squad, but, like, this is the way that everybody can access the public information for your fellowship. Unfortunately, not for your whole faction. I wish there was a faction-based look where you could select the fellowship. That would be amazing, because then you could see any fight, and sometimes you want to see someone else from your faction who got hit, not just your own fellowship, but this is still pretty solid. Now, on the topic of things that are pretty solid, you're going to have to remove a bunch of tiles in order to make room for higher level tiles. But every now and then you make a mistake. Oh man, like I didn't want to get rid of that 200 tile. Man, that's a disaster. Whoops. Well, you can always just push the little refresh button and it will stop removing your tile, which is kind of nice. So it takes a while to get rid of a tile, but at least if you remove the wrong one, you can restore it back. The next thing that I want to talk about, this is tip number 4, is related to ability point generation. Now, ability points are absolutely freaking amazing. I've been using them for mock battling. There's a very good argument to be made here that probably you should hold on to some amount of ability points so you can do like a long range strike or some of these things that take ability points to do. I've just been going all in on mock battling. It's probably a mistake. By increasing the maximum number of ability points you can have, you also increase the rate at which your ability points regen. I made a dedicated video about this. The card will be up in the top. However, control is among the very, very best ring points, and you can get 5 extra points over here from one structure on the map. This is arguably the best structure on the board. Right over here, Supreme Glory, 5 maximum ability points. Hello, baby. This is the promised land of ability point regeneration. Absolutely insane. Tip number 6, and this is a very minor one, is that the design of your ring, like the physical look of that ring, actually gives you a small amount of bonus stats. And you can see that, by the way, in any one of your reports. If you're wondering, like, gosh, like what buffs do I actually have? I could look into this report, and if I look at the details of the log, we'll see right up at the top, ring, army performance, physical damage caused is boosted. Okay, so you can see what those buffs are. It's very minor. I don't stress over it. Might make a video to help you know exactly which one you can get. There's some tables floating around out on the internet so that you can talk about like the inscription and the color of the stone and all that stuff that sorts it out. Know that it's there. You can optimize it if you want. I haven't, and I care a lot about micro optimizations. So let's go to tip number 7, which is that if you're wondering, hey, what loot can I actually get from one of these crates? What other weapons are even available? Like, I have a weapon I like, but do I want a different one? Is there something else out there I should be waiting for? Well, if you are wondering, you can tap right over here on the equipment sections, and it'll show you the different items at that tier of rarity, and you can even tap the item to see what's in that particular piece. So if it's might focus hit points, as you see here, or this Warhammer gives might and army defense for dwarves. The only thing you can't see is the list of modifiers. But if you're interested in a video showcasing the very best epics or legendaries that I think you absolutely should hold on to, and what their modifiers are, I'll have a card up in the top. You could check out that video. While we're talking about equipment, there are a couple things you may not have known. So for example, one of those things is that if we make our way over and let's select this Hunter's Guide, you can tap the little button in the upper right next to the name, and it's going to bring up this menu. Tap the little icon on the left, and it will show you the different modifiers, which is pretty cool. But if you tap this button, you can actually see the maximum stats at 5-star gold refinement level. Not that any of us are really getting there for a lot of equipment. In fact, I only have a couple pieces that got that far, and I can't even believe that I have a couple of those. But yeah, like that Aegis modifier, 100% chance to get stun immunity and madness immunity each round for the first 4 rounds. That is just absolutely amazing. So if you're wondering what does the best of the best look like, not everything goes up to 100%. In fact, this particular piece that I really like, the Scout's Mail with Shroud, only goes up to 60%. So that's good to know before you make some assumptions and start to invest in something and it doesn't work the way you think. One more thing while we're talking about equipment is that people get very confused, myself included, around like which of your materials you get back if you want to shred something that you have refined or strengthened. Remember, strengthening is the white star. That is the strengthen level. The gold star represents the refinement level. To refine something, you have to have more of the exact same thing. So for example, if I were to make my way over to my commanders and just show you that real quick, let's find somebody with a Hithlane. If I want to refine this, you need more Hithlanes. I can't actually refine it because I actually haven't started up yet. So bad example, Chisgule. Smoking pipe's already maxed. GG. How about a weapon? Let's go over here. Better example. To refine the cutlass, I need to have other cutlasses, okay? But what people don't know is that if you use this cutlass to strengthen or refine some other piece, all of the things that you used to strengthen will count as worn out materials, purple materials, okay? Just kind of like the generic purple materials. But all of the items that you used to refine will come back to you in your inventory. In other words, literally every single cutlass I used to get to 4-star gold over here, if I use this cutlass to strengthen or refine something else, all of those cutlasses I put in to make the gold stars will come back exactly with the same modifiers they had before you actually went and refined with them. So in other words, I'll say it again just for clarity, I can take this cutlass, refine something else with it, or strengthen something else with it, and I will get back every single other cutlass that went in to refine this particular piece, which is pretty cool. So if you think you might have had a modifier you really wish you wanted access to, then you can do some maneuvering, for example, to take this one to 1 star, refine with your other one, get back all the other variants other than the one that you're refining with. You will lose that one. You can get all the variants back, and then you can work with those variants to do whatever you need to do, which is, it sounds like a complicated maneuver, but for perspective, I am going to want to put one of those cutlasses on Eowyn pretty soon, and I don't have the flavor that I really, really want. It's somewhere in that refined mess, and I'll talk about which one exactly that is, so I can be very concrete here. If I go to my equipment, we look at these cutlasses. There is a flavor of this cutlass with melee might. Gosh darn it, I know I shredded one at some point. I refined with it. Well, if I want to get it back, I can go through that whole process of using the existing one I have to go refine something else, and then I'll get a couple back, and then I can make sure to have the exact one I want. A process I will showcase in a video at some point when I go to actually do one of those maneuvers. Whew, that was complicated. Now, I've got a lot of equipment tips here, so let's get to the next equipment tip, which is related to stuns. There are only 5 commander stuns in the game, and this, by the way, I had no clue how this worked, but Drucifer walked me through it. There is a Gil-galad stun, which is the only reliable stun. The King of the Dead has a % chance. Adune, which is an evil commander, has a % chance. Quirion, I don't actually know his name, the new evil commander, he's got a chance. And in the Witch King non-ideal build, so you shouldn't really see this, there is a chance to stun your commander. I need to differentiate. Did you know there's a difference between commander stun and unit stun, and it's not the same thing. Your units are the different things that are in your army. The commander is the commander itself, and it's its ability to actually do normal attacks and use the different skills that you have. So commander stuns are very powerful, but they're also very rare. So something like this Iron Bassinet seems really cool. The allied commander has a chance to gain stun immunity. That's amazing, except there are so few instances where you think your commander can even get stunned at all that it sounds cool, but isn't as cool as it sounds. Here's a quick tip for those of you that play on BlueStacks, but also want to get some notifications when you go to work. And by the way, if you didn't know, BlueStacks is an app that you download for your computer that lets you play mobile games on your PC. So if you want to play Lord of the Rings Rise to War on your PC, there's a link in the description where you can go and download specifically Lord of the Rings Rise to War to your PC and you can play. But once you want to go to work and you want to start getting notifications on your phone again, just log into your phone before you go to the office. Not to, I don't know, at the day and age where I'm recording this, people aren't exactly going to offices. They're staying socially distant. But if you had to go somewhere, you want notifications that your city's going to get hit, just log into your phone after playing on PC, and then you'll get those notifications again, assuming you have them enabled. I think at this point I'm on tip number 11. Man, there's so many tips that I've lost track. But one thing that many people don't know is that you actually can guard a tile after the enemy has started to hit the tile. You heard me correctly. Guard is an ability. I'll try to find a commander. I must have some commander that's near some other blue tiles, right? Maybe not. Really? Okay, yes, I do. So when I smash this guard button, you'll see that now I'm protecting this nearby tile, all tiles from my fellowship, and my own tile. But what you might not have known is that you can wait until the enemy is actually in the animation of attacking, right? Where they're swinging their sword or poking with their spear, right? Where the whole thing happens where one side runs away when they're defeated. That whole little animation, you can smash guard after that animation has started, and your commander will still defend the tile. Kind of gross. So an enemy can swing in thinking they're going to get a free hit on a tile because nobody's guarding it, and then you throw your guard up after they are committed to the attack. They can no longer run away. Got them, baby. So that is a very powerful tactic to deploy if you want to trap somebody, and there's no reason you wouldn't do this, right? I guess there is one reason why you wouldn't, which is that the only downside of smashing guard is that once you turn it off, you have to wait a total of 15 minutes from the time you activated guard in order to guard again. So there's the downside, but I think the trap of just got them, baby. They think they're clear and free, and boom, you get them is just really powerful. Also, obviously not walking to the tile and just being able to guard saves you energy, and saving stamina is always a good thing. 3 remaining tips here, and I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't, but it was brought to my attention that in Season 1, the barracks had a maximum capacity of 1,000, and in Season 2, the maximum capacity is 1,300. So perhaps in Season 3, we can get even more troops to use with even more commanders as we expand our collection. I mean, it kind of makes sense in some regards that, if they want us to invest in lots of commanders and lots of equipment, then they should let us have more troops that we actually can do it. But who knows, we may see this number increase over future seasons. And my final 2 tips here, tip number 14, I believe, is that anytime you destroy an enemy fort, you get the tile that is underneath the fort. That includes, by the way, if you were to destroy a fellowship fort, and fellowship forts are on 200 tiles. So if I zoom in way over, here's a fellowship fort. There it is. If someone were to take down this fort, they would get the 200 tile underneath it, and they wouldn't have to fight the defenders of the tile. It's a fight-free capture once you actually have removed all of the durability of that fort. Again, that is true of all of the smaller individual forts as well. And the final tip on the topic of forts is that in case for some reason you wanted the tile underneath your fort, but you didn't want the fort itself, you can go to one of your forts here and you can smash the button to remove it, and you can choose to either completely abandon the tile and the fort, or if you just want to demolish the structure, which would enable you to start getting resources from that tile once again. This is a good strategy if you're trying to free up the number of forts you have, but also you want to retain the option of rebuilding a fort in an area if you thought you needed to. I know that sounds kind of expensive, but once your season gets to be kind of on lockdown, like you can see the absurdity of my resources right now being basically all maxed, my building's all maxed, and once I smash this button, my healing all taken care of. Like, it's kind of a crazy position to be in, but when you're not in that position, being able to save the tile to build a fort in the future and get resources makes it kind of interesting to upgrade tiles that are higher level than just like a level 1 tile. And I know it feels like it's the meta, just run around smashing level 1 tiles. And in some ways, like, be a good citizen and leave the higher level tiles to your allies who might want to, you know, actually use the tile for resources, just make forts on level 1s. But the fact that you can destroy the fort without abandoning the tile is relevant. So leave a comment down below. How many of these tips did you know? I think that was 15. Can I count? Did I get that right? I don't know. I think there were a few bonus tips in there as well. Just some additional ideas, which I hope were helpful to you. And if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Are you not getting value from these videos? Am I not entertaining? Are you not entertained? Throw a like on here. Consider subscribing. I've got some drama-related stuff coming up that I just am shocked that there's even still drama. Like, we've already won the season, and people seem to want to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, which is hilarious, but also very telling. And I'll be telling that story very soon. So, like, subscribe, get your popcorn for drama, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Oh, and of course, what am I waiting for? Check out those cards up in the top, including the video I just linked that is all about drama, baby.